Everybody, this is Paul Hitchcock. Welcome to Giant TV. I'm the president and founder of Giant Jacks Media. We're helping others to grow and nurture their businesses. Really excited for my guest here today, Michelle Tillis Lederman. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and you and I were chit-chatting beforehand. I'm looking at your profile here. You've got so many incredible things going on. I know we want to talk about your Connected Leader course as well. But Michelle, for all those listening, myself included, love a little bit about your background and how you got into what you're doing and what your focus is.
It's a convoluted story. And actually, as of May of 2024, I just hit 20 years in business.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
So before that 20 years, I was in finance. I'm a recovering CPA, which I totally get. People are like, huh?
What?
Exactly. But that's actually how it all came about because I was really frustrated with the lack of management, the ineffective communication. I was managing money for a bank and I had hedge funds pitching me, and I'm like, no, 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 this is not how you influence somebody. This is not how you pitch. Can I help you? And so that's kind of the frustration kind of led to me starting this work, and I started doing it internally for the bank, and then just said, yeah, this is what I meant to do, and been doing it for the last 20 years. And my mission is to help people understand how to communicate, to connect, because real relationships lead to real results. And whether you're an entrepreneur or a corporate leader, you can't be successful if people don't want to follow you.
Yeah, well said. Well said. What was that leap like? I mean, you were working at a company and then you started your own thing. Was that a easy transition for you, or how did that go initially?
Well, it was a very interesting time because I was working full-time in finance. I was
Yeah.
teaching as an adjunct professor at NYU's Stern School of Business.
Yep. Yep.
I was putting my husband through business school. I was pregnant with my first child.
Oh, man.
And I was moving my grandparents, who I was the kind of power of attorney for, up from Florida. So my plate was very full.
Yeah, to say the least. Yeah.
To say the least. And my connected leader story is that the CEO of the finance firm actually was able to say, hey, something's got to give and it's got to
Yep.
be us.
Yep.
And helped me transition out by weaning me off my finance salary, going down from full-time to, part-time to no time over the course of a few months. And, it's funny. One of those founders of the company that I worked for is now a client of mine.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Yeah.
So that's the whole thing is, the bank that I did this work for initially, that I left for this other finance firm, they became a client of mine because it is about those relationships. And so it was not just a leap. I had kind of built up some of my business while I was working in finance.
Yeah, what a great story there. And so when I read about what you're doing and you tell me, okay, focused on communication, leadership, and team building, these things, what exactly does that mean? What type of communication, and what is the pain point or the opportunities that companies are experiencing that make it a good fit for you?
It is, God, there's so many pain points,
Yeah.
whether it is the turnover that people are experiencing, the quiet quitting, the disengagement, the lack of loyalty. It is costing hundreds of billions of dollars a year. If you think about somebody who's disengaged and you think about, well, they're not working at their full level of productivity when we're disengaged. If you take their salary and say, well, maybe they're working at 50% or maybe they're working at 70%. Well,
Yeah.
you are losing the value of 30% of that salary,
Yeah.
right? If you do that
Yeah.
into your own organization, you will just see how much investment, is being lost. So those are the big picture pain points, but then there's little picture pain points. You have a culture of what I call an eggshell culture, or a culture of fear where people are afraid to share their ideas. You have people who are being micromanaged, so there's a lack of innovation. You see it come out in a lot of different ways. And so, you know, you're an entrepreneur, you work with people. What are the pain points that you're hearing out there?
Yeah. Yeah. No, similar to what you're saying is when you said people are disengaged, I started thinking about why are they disengaged? And you went into, well, because they're afraid to speak up. The culture, stinks, and all those things cause people to be disengaged. So
Yeah.
I'm hearing that. And so when you go in there, then, so it's a lot of it seems to be around culture, right? For you and people, is that right?
Well, culture and leadership. I always say people don't, um, work for the organization. They work for their boss, for the person, for the human. And
Yeah.
they don't quit the organization. They quit that boss.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
that's the number one reason people give why they leave or why they're unhappy or why they're disengaged. It's that direct boss. So, yeah, we can look at creating connected cultures, and we do, but we also look at creating connected leaders
Mm.
and, having leaders understand that that is one of the biggest drivers of engagement is that management believes in the value of the people and demonstrates how important those people are to the company's success.
So when you go in, Michelle, what exactly are you doing? What does your initial interaction with the leadership look like? Are you having one-to-one meetings? Do you get, the C levels involved? How does it pan out?
It depends on the organization. It depends on the client. So my company, Executive Essentials, we will do custom training that could be a 1 day, it could be a 6 month. It depends on what, we really customize to whatever it is they're experiencing and what their needs are. So it could be training, it could be coaching. I work with a lot of C-suites as an executive coach and executive
Hmm.
advisor to help navigate some of those cultural issues, some of the communications. I work with a lot of people on their board presentations. How do we
Uh-huh.
influence?
Uh-huh.
We also we do speaking, right? So sometimes they have a big conference, a kickoff. They want to energize people. So we offer a variety of services. But what I have found is sometimes it's just the individual and the entrepreneur, like you. I've had a lot of people who realize um, that there's continuous learning, continuous growth. And we need to invest in ourselves to be the best version of ourselves.
Invest in ourselves. What do you mean by that? Does that mean being aware of a lack of knowledge and we need to educate ourselves more, or what does that mean?
It's about building good habits. And, you know, nobody's perfect, right?
Yeah.
I teach this
Come
stuff.
on. I'm there. I'm almost there.
My kids know what I do and they've been to my programs and they've been in the audience and they'll catch me on things that I teach. They're like, "Oh, you say this." And I'm like, "Oh, right." We might know something. We might know the best way to respond or how to handle something or what our reaction is not ideal, but we still do it. And
Hmm.
so sometimes it's not the knowledge, but the application of that knowledge,
Mm.
building the habit. That's why coaching is so effective. That's why accountability is so necessary, whether we create it internally for you or you do it externally with a coach or a program. I know you mentioned my Connected Leader course, which is literally designed to do just that for those people who understand that there is foundational skills and thinking that enable this type of leadership that does engage, that does retain, that does inspire people to work not just at their best, but above it, because that's, you know, where you get the people who say, I would do anything for that leader. I would
Yeah.
follow them anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems hard to get. It seems that that's a hard to achieve for a lot of leaders is to get there where their people are dying to work for them and motivated. That's why obviously you come in to help. And your comment about habits, it's interesting to me because somebody said to me one time that you've got to make the execution of certain processes just part of your identity every week. It's what you do. You like practicing for a big game or something. So I imagine that is another way to talk about your habits. So you got to create these habits where it's just what you do. You don't, you just do them.
It's really deciding what's important to you. So in the Connected Leader course, and we built this because of entrepreneurs and individuals who aren't getting what they need internally, that they need access to experts and a network that can help one create that accountability, but also to learn from each other. And so the Connected Leader course builds that foundational thinking and creates that network for you to start to think about, well, what is my leadership brand? How do I want to be known? Because if you aren't clear on how you want to be known as a leader, then you can't build the habits and the behaviors to reinforce that thinking. And if you haven't decided how you want to be known, well, let me tell you your dinner conversation, right?
Mm, right. Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
talking about you.
Yeah.
You need to decide what you want them to say.
Hmm.
If you want to, influence that and control the narrative, understanding how to infuse those behaviors, and then that's where the habits are built, right?
Interesting. Does that get into personal value proposition statements and messaging? Is that part of it?
I don't use the terminology of personal value statements. I really talk about your leadership brand and really getting clear on the attributes that you want to infuse in an authentic way. And I talk about unique charms. Like we need to still have self-acceptance. Um, I will never claim to be perfect. I mess up all the time. But there's an acceptance to that and understanding, how do we respond in those moments?
Yeah.
One of the most powerful things, and remind me to come, I'm gonna give you a question to think about because I'm gonna come back to you and ask for an answer. Think about somebody in your life that got the most out of you, that had you capable of things that you didn't even know you were capable of. It could have been like a coach, a parent, mentor, a former boss. Just I'm gonna let you mull on
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So now I forgot the question you actually asked me because I got sidetracked. See, I'm not perfect.
Well, no, yeah, it was like leadership branding, the way you talk about leadership branding. Yeah.
um, you can really determine and drive, how you want to be known. And then think about, well, what are the specific behaviors that influence that? And there's a whole exercise within the course for us to kind of figure that out, to collect that data, to see if there's a gap between my actual brand and my desired brand.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I
Okay.
love it.
Did I
Yeah.
stall long enough for you to tell me?
Oh,
Because,
yeah. Yeah.
all
I,
right,
I
so
know
you
right
got no,
away.
no names, but you got somebody in mind. Tell me about what it was that they did that got the most out of you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have two really personal level with my father, and but business level, it's the founder, my business partner, founder of this law firm, asset protection law firm that we work on together, and he's an older gentleman and became a mentor of mine in many ways, and he's very entrepreneurial, and for him, his leadership style is incredible, and what worked for me is that um, complete freedom to try, to fail, come up with new ideas and green light them with and we failed a few times and unconditional support in moving forward in trying a new endeavor that may not work. So it's almost like unconditional love on a personal level, which is amazing if you have it from your
Mhm.
parents, which I did. Having that unconditional support from a mentor and a business partner is equally as valuable in a business environment. So that would be my
Okay,
input.
so I
Yeah.
heard a lot of good stuff in there. They're supportive, they listen, they were open. Um, how they respond. This is what I was actually going to say before that I forgot. How you respond in those moments when things don't go well, right?
Hmm.
You guys failed. Did he sit there and go, I can't believe you did, right? No.
Yeah.
He's okay, what can we learn from this? What did we learn from this? What do we want to try differently next time? This was great. We'll do it better next time.
Yeah.
That's creating psychological safety. That inspires innovation and risk taking and idea generation, and
100%.
that engages people. So we all know, everybody who's listening right now can sit there and think about that person in their life
Yeah.
that inspired them to exceed their own expectations
Yeah.
and start to think about, well, what are those behaviors? What are the attributes? What are the things that work for me? And are those the things that I want to be associated with my leadership brand? And how do I infuse them in?
For sure.
So the example that you just gave, I love. This is a great one that anybody can take away. Parents, entrepreneurs, internal leaders, it doesn't matter. How do you respond to bad news?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Really think about, the milk spills. And my little one still at 16 years old spills the milk. Like he is just a klutz. I love him. But and then his response was always, "Huh," and then just stares at it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it took a while for us to be like, what do you think you should do right now? It wasn't,
Uh,
oh my God, get the towel,
right.
right? Like that, you know what? The milk's dripping, it's getting things wet. And we're like, what do you think you should do right now?
Yeah, it's great. That's great. Yeah. Stay calm. Say it's calm. It's calm. It just it infuses confidence in somebody when you're calm like that. Michelle, what is this connected leader course? Tell me about that and how people get involved in that and why they should get involved in it.
This is my answer to not being able to say yes. Uh, basically, I I've had a lot of people come to me and say, "Hey, we want, you to coach me." And I tend to work with organizations more than I work with individuals. And therefore, I have to say no. The
Right.
Connected Leader
Right.
course was born so that I could say yes. For those people who understand that there's more that they can achieve, that they're still climbing up, and that they need the support and the skills. This is an alternative to one-on-one coaching. It
Uh-huh.
is a semi-synchronous 8-week learning journey, and you are with a cohort of other people. And I say semi-synchronous because people can sign up right now. I'm going to give everyone in your audience an early bird code. Then we have a cohort running right now, but you can't join that one. But our next cohort is going to be in the fall. But then you have all summer to work on those opening activities of your story and your leadership brand, because that's one of the opening activities, is really kind of getting clear on that and collecting that data. So you have lots of time to work on that. And we take you through some of these skills about listening, embracing curiosity, about communicating to collaborate and dealing with diverse personalities and being clear and focused, building and retaining trust, taking a coach approach to leadership, all of the foundational skills to be that connected leader that inspires, retains, engages, and grows a team. Um, and so that was the vision behind it.
Awesome.
We have 3 live sessions because you know what? I want you to connect to the other people in the cohort.
Yeah.
There's a conversation going on, and we're also starting to build your network of people who are, we have actually right now, it's kind of even between entrepreneurs and internal leaders,
Hmm. Hmm.
which I think is fabulous because there's
Yeah.
so much to learn from people who are doing something different than you are.
So you're getting on live Zooms in that course with the people?
There's 3 opportunities to be on live Zooms with the entire cohort. And if
Okay.
people can't make the specific day and time that the live session is, we do record it. But the hope is that we can bring our cohort together 3 times during the 2-month program.
Got it. And what are the numbers typically of a cohort?
We keep it rather small. This current cohort, we wanted to keep under a dozen. We might make it a little bit larger for the next one, but we do keep it small because we want to be able to create those
It's a great
relationships.
number. Yeah, it's a great number because everyone can get real interactive with each other. That's great. And so, yeah, I want to tell everyone listening, wherever you're watching this video, because we're live streaming it on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, everywhere. That link, you're going to give me a link, Michelle, that I
Yep.
could share. It'll be somewhere around this video, maybe up here, down here. Check it out. And yeah, definitely get connected to Michelle. She's got a huge audience there on LinkedIn of followers. The content you're putting out is wonderful. I've had a chance to look at quite a bit of it. It's great. And
Thank
yeah, awesome stuff. I'd love to stay connected, track the progress here, and thank you for spending some time with me.
you. My pleasure. And flash that code EB for early bird 300, and I'll get you $300 off the course.
Love it. Love it. Awesome. Thank you, Michelle.
Thanks for having me.
All right.